The story begins with two military vehicles in a field. A man on one of them watches missiles fly above him. Seconds later, he watches the explosions they've caused. He talks to his crew member in another language. Then we see from the point of view of someone else sneaking up on this camp of soldiers. There is more than one of them, and soon gunfire from both sides ensues. The first man we saw now lies on the ground, coughing up his blood. From an overhead view, we observe 5 soldiers who just took the lives of the foreign ones. The leader, Will, starts giving orders to his teammates. Haley finds a crate of grenades and takes one for herself. The other 2 members, Kia and Jack, enter the enemy tent. 2 lifeless people are in there, but the third is a living prisoner. She talks in the same foreign tongue as the recently deceased soldiers. When Jack undoes her restraints, she tries to escape. The wild prisoner even bites off the tip of his finger. Outside, Will points his gun ahead, yelling at whoever is out there. Jack and Kia point their guns at the prisoner. He motions to Kia to collect the woman. Kia cannot believe his decision after what she did to him, yet she obeys. When Jack gives the bird to the prisoner, he sees it doesn't work too well because part of the bird is missing. Kia asks the woman why she was in the tent, which the prisoner answers in her language. The member named Ben asks Kia what she said. The answer is interesting, for it does not answer Kia's question to her. Kia translates that she said, "Don't go down." Approaching them, Will asks what all of this is. Jack tells him the most important thing from his perspective. The prisoner bit part of his finger off. Will wants to know why she is still alive. Ben tells him it's because she's a civilian. This prompts the leader to ask Kia what their mission was. She claims it was to intercept the enemy and eliminate anyone in the camp. So he points to the prisoner, wondering why she is alive. He orders Kia to take her life. When she hesitates, he points his gun at Kia to force her to shoot. She knows he thinks what happened to his brother is his fault, but this won't make it better. Will ignores her words and repeats his order. Thus, she obeys the stern man's command. Suddenly, Haley yells they have company. The enemy starts firing at them, forcing the soldiers to fire back while taking cover. Ben estimates there could be up to 4 of the enemy shooting at them. They radio their other teammate Emma, who says she will get them a helicopter. Shortly after, the crew enters a new area, which they navigate quietly. As they walk, they spot a soldier, quickly concealing themselves. His baseball bat gets stealthily taken away by Kia. Instead of using loud guns to attract attention, she uses the bat to knock the soldier out. Soon they watch from a distance how one of their enemies deals with more helpless prisoners. He ruthlessly takes the lives of 2 of them, leaving the remaining woman to beg for her life. Mercy, however, is not something he grants her. Once he runs away, the crew follows him. After shooting him down, they enter the helicopter Emma sent to them. Kia watches 2 missiles fly in the distance, resulting in a large explosion far off. The scene changes to show 3 helicopters flying over water. Meanwhile, the soldiers are now riding in a truck, where Will wants to know what the prisoner said. Kia tells him she cryptically said not to go down. Eventually, the crew arrives at a building that could be their headquarters. In there, Kia remembers how the prisoner said those words and how Kia shot her. As they wait for the elevator, it stops functioning, so they resort to taking the stairs. While the team starts to ascend, Kia stays with Haley. The former asks her if she is okay with this. Her words make Haley say she forgot she told her something. Kia replies, "It is hard to forget a story like that." We don't find out yet what that story is. Time passes, and we see it is tedious work to climb the stairs, because the crew is breathing heavily. Even soldiers such as them, who are supposed to be trained in endurance, find it tiring. Jack goofs around, saying that the office they're going to is at the top of Everest. Haley says she has a bad feeling about this, a feeling Kia agrees with. In no time, the woman's feeling suddenly turns into reality, for the building starts to shake and the alarm goes off. This prompts them all to look up and wonder. The leader says someone will have to go downstairs to check. One of the guys in the group volunteers to do it. Kia tries to stop him, but he tells her to relax. The man thinks it's a mere power issue. Thus, he starts his descent. While he is down there, the crew eventually hears him emit a ghastly scream. Will yells out to him, yet he receives no answer. Then another new member, Carter, wants to go down. Being wise this time, Will tells him not to. Soon the one who went earlier returns to his team, covered in blood. He advises his friends to run before he falls. So they listen to him and start running upstairs. As they do, we see someone who looks like a zombie standing on the stairs. At another resting point, the crew wonders what is going on. The member, Rachel, says God is testing them. Emma agrees with her and starts telling a story of when she was 19 during her first deployment. Her crew was captured by rebels who put them in a clock tower with a big staircase. Her eyes become teary as she recalls this painful memory. Every day, the rebels would put all sorts of harmful things on the stairs like safety pins or broken glass. They made Emma's team ascend the staircase barefoot all day. It was being done to test them prior to their demise. That is why she believes their current struggle is punishment. Jack asks what they are being punished for, and Kia quickly answers that it's for taking the life of the prisoner who bit part of his finger off. Will has had enough, saying he doesn't want to hear any more. The crew continues to ascend the stairs until Jack announces he found an exit. Once all of them are there, they point their guns at whatever might surprise them behind those double doors. Opening them, Will sees nothing except darkness, but it does not stop the brave man from entering. Interestingly, the place he soon emerges into is the camp of the soldiers they eliminated in the beginning. The place he came from looks like a portal. Kia is the sole member to join him in this surreal occurrence. They observe what their earlier versions did in the camp. After having had enough of such an inexplicable happening, the duo steps back into the portal to re-enter the building. Jack asks them if that is what he thinks it is, and Rachel doesn't want to believe it. Now Jack is starting to consider maybe they might be getting punished. Not only does Rachel not want to believe this, she also doesn't want to partake in the endeavor. The lady would rather risk descending the stairs. However, Kia knows one thing, that they can't go down. Rachel shows that she doesn't have ears for anyone at a time like this, so she starts to descend the stairs. We watch her go, and the alarm goes off along with the light turning red. She gets attacked by the zombie woman, who looks like the prisoner Kia was ordered to shoot. The crew hears her screams. Later, they hear a peaceful tune playing. Kia says her mom used to sing it to her when Kia couldn't sleep. Soon she starts looking at a file they had on them, containing information about the camp they were at. Kia reads that the prisoner she eliminated was in custody for months. The soldiers holding her were under strict instructions not to neutralize her. They also had a nickname for her, which was Prophet of Demise. Will dismisses it as a local superstition, but Kia thinks it's obvious that their current situation and what they did are connected. This angers Will. He says if any of them forget their place, he will shoot them. He thinks it's clear this is a training mission. Furthermore, the leader knows there are no answers on the stairs, so he wants to keep moving to find them. Afterward, the crew goes through a second portal, and it brings them back to the camp of soldiers as the first portal did. Haley stays with Emma in the building. The latter starts acting strange, resulting in her pointing her gun at Haley. Emma perceives her as being the zombie woman, even though she is not. Haley urges her teammate to put down her gun. Instead of that happening, a pair of hands rises behind Emma to take her downstairs. All Haley can do is rush to the railing to scream for her. She witnesses the soldier lying nearly deceased on the stairs. Alas, the zombie draws near to do something to her that we don't see. Meanwhile, the rest of the crew returns to the building and starts running upstairs. At another resting point, Jack finally says they need a plan. He understands that what is happening isn't a training mission. Kia thinks it's the work of a supernatural. Will believes it's necessary to remind his team that their orders were to neutralize everyone at the camp. Thus, they completed their mission. At this point, Carter tells him what happened to his brother was an accident. He should not let it cloud his judgment. Yet Will blames him because he put his feelings before the mission. He also says they are all expendable. All that matters are the orders. Subsequently, Ben starts ascending the stairs with Haley. When Carter starts walking too, Will orders him not to, or he will shoot the man. He points his gun at Carter, who manages to push it away and starts fighting the leader. Kia fights Will too, but he knocks her down without much effort. Now Jack enters the fight, only to get beaten in a few seconds. Carter stands up to resume the battle, which quickly turns into a knife duel. Carter slices the leader's arm prior to getting him into a headlock. Unfortunately, Will collects his knife to stab Carter. Jack rushes to them and tries to prevent the deranged Will from causing additional harm. Thankfully, Will loses consciousness from the headlock. Carter tells Jack and Kia to save the prisoner. If they do the right thing, this situation will not happen. After, the duo starts ascending the stairs, while Carter is left with Will on top of him. The man is too injured to continue going further, and his life ends on those stairs. There are 4 of them left now. Kia tries to make sense of their situation by saying they entered the portal twice, and it brought them to the same place at the same time in both instances. The crew brainstorms about how they're going to redo their mission. Ben asks Jack what he would do if someone who looked exactly like him popped up in the middle of their mission. Jack responds he would probably shoot the lookalike, which are words Ben agrees with. He wants to wait for their earlier selves to go, so their current versions can go home. Kia does not think it works like that. After they go through the third portal, the crew hides somewhere, and Haley fires a surprise shot. This makes them watch the earlier versions engage in battle with the soldiers. Soon the past Will runs in the direction where the crew is hiding. We now understand they are the ones he yelled out to, asking who is there. Once he runs back to his team, the current team wants to observe if they changed anything. Kia gives the sad news that nothing has changed. The worst thing they have to relive, though, is seeing Kia shoot the prisoner. Shortly after, they run back to the portal to keep moving upstairs in the building. At the resting point, Kia says they must go back to try again. Ben proposes a plan for one of them to take the prisoner before the past versions get her. Jack volunteers to be the one to do it. Back at the camp, he sneaks his way to the tent and enters it to see the prisoner there with 2 sleeping guards. The present crew fires shots to alert the enemy. As the action is taking place outside, Jack eliminates the 2 guards. Unable to take the prisoner, he tells himself he will free her next time. When he runs out of the tent, he gets shot down by none other than his earlier self. We watch how the earlier crew runs past Jack without realizing it's him. Kia runs to retrieve the injured man. Following this, the 4 survivors re-enter the portal and rush upstairs to escape the alarm and the dreadful red light. It is getting more difficult to continue due to Jack's acquired injury. Ben lays him down on the stairs, saying they have to take the bullet out or he's finished. Kia uses pliers to remove it, giving Jack serious pain in the process. Afterward, she uses a special liquid to get his open wound to heal. Haley says they have to get him to a doctor, or he won't survive for long. Kia proposes another plan, that they beat their earlier selves to the evacuation helicopter. By doing that, they could fly out of this mess and save Jack. Ben quickly counters this plan by saying, this might result in the earlier them losing their lives in the field, which would cause the present them to vanish. With renewed resolve, the crew enters the camp again. Now they have decided to be at the place where Kia stole the baseball bat. Haley knocks on a vehicle to get the soldier's attention. As he walks towards the distraction, Kia takes his life from behind. Shortly after, they watch the other soldier shoot those 3 prisoners. Ben remarks they should have stopped him. Once the helicopter arrives, the crew gets inside, but they seem to have entered the building again. The wounded Jack says he knew it was a bad plan. Those also seem to be his last words. Even at a devastating time like this, they are not allowed to rest because the alarm sounds off. It prompts Kia to scream in anger, insulting the alarm. 4 has turned into 3 as the trio continues their ascent. 1/3 of the original crew is left. While resting, Kia has to take off her shoes. The constant movement has gotten to her, like it did to all of them. Ben wants to try something different this time, and we don't hear what it is. The 3 of them return to the camp, where Ben sneaks up on the earlier Haley before grabbing her. After we observe the same events unfold, Will asks where Haley is. As he is ordering Kia to shoot the prisoner, the present crew fires warning shots. The present Ben has his face partially hidden and yells that the past crew is surrounded. He demands for them to let the prisoner go. Pointing the gun at the female prisoner, Will says now they can negotiate. He wants to know who they are. Ben simply repeats for the prisoner to be released, or they will eliminate Ben's entire team. But Will doubts they are surrounded like Ben wants him to believe. To quell his doubt, another shot is fired at the ground near him. Will yells that if they had the upper hand, they would have already eliminated the earlier team. Ben repeats for the 3rd time to have the prisoner released, if the team from the past wants to live. Unfortunately, Will says he has orders and shoots the prisoner. Haley breaks free from Ben's grasp at this moment. The crew from the past opens fire at the crew from the present. Thankfully, the latter crew escapes into the portal. Inside the building, the trio is exhausted from their climb. Haley doesn't know how much more she has left in her. She even laughs when Kia says a few supporting words to her. Haley thinks maybe the prisoner is meant to perish along with them, the crew. She also thinks they could already be deceased, and what they're experiencing is hell. They enter the camp again, where we watch the action repeat itself. To their apprehension, nothing seems to be working. Thus, we get another moment of the trio resting on the stairs inside the building that can't let them go. We watch more trials at the camp, which continue to result in failure. Eventually, Haley says she thinks she is done. Ben tells her she doesn't get to just stop. That's not how it works. The man assures her they will save the prisoner and stop this madness. However, Haley is extremely doubtful that their ordeal will end. She follows those words by taking out the grenade she collected from the crate. Her 2 teammates understand what she intends to do, so they start walking upstairs. Haley undoes the pin on the grenade while sitting alone. The duo watches the explosion from above. We see they are now barely moving up the stairs. The task has become very tiring, but they know it must be done. Once the remaining 2 stand near the portal, Ben tells Kia the plan they are about to engage in is awful. They go through the portal, and Kia wants to save as many lives as they can. We witness the events unfold in the same way until Will wants Kia to neutralize the prisoner. The change that occurs is the present Kia shooting her past self in a non-lethal way, allowing the prisoner to run away. When the past crew runs off elsewhere, Kia rushes to her earlier self. She observes that the injury she inflicted on her earlier self has materialized on her present self. Then the prisoner directs herself to the two Kias. After she takes the past Kia behind a vehicle with her, the present Kia finds Will to point her gun at him. He orders her to lower her weapon and complete her mission. She replies that it's not about the orders. It's about doing the right thing. The man tells her no one gets a happy ending, because this is not how it works. Walking towards Kia, Will tells her to aim properly. She points her gun at the crate of grenades instead of him and shoots them. An explosion goes off, very likely taking Will's life. Somehow Kia managed to survive the blast. Once she collects herself, she comes to the prisoner, whom she instructs to follow her. Switching to Ben, he approaches the soldier who eliminates the 3 helpless prisoners every time he is shown. He already put 2 of them to sleep, but Ben deals with him to save the last one. He behaves gently with her, telling the frightened woman it is okay. Upon entering the helicopter with her, Rachel rudely asks who she is. Ben replies he is only following orders. Ben does not stay in the helicopter though, for he knows him from the past will have to occupy. Shifting to Kia, she runs to her past crew with the main prisoner. She lies that they have new orders to evacuate her. When they all run away, Kia struggles to follow them due to her wound. After she summons the strength to stand, she turns around to see a burnt Will, standing at quite a distance from her. He is pointing his gun at her. In a short time, he starts shooting at her, yet she evades the bullets. Soon he finds her behind a vehicle, and they engage in a knife battle. Kia shows how skilled of a fighter she is by kicking the leader back. They lose their knives, meaning it's hand-to-hand combat now. Will gets her on the ground to deliver several heavy hits to the poor lady. Then he demands to know why she's making him do this. She tells him it's because the orders are wrong. Such words prompt him to collect his shotgun and point it at her. He says they don't get paid to question them. At this moment, Ben pulls up in a Hummer. After insulting the leader, he starts using the mounted machine gun to fire at him. But Will flees to hide behind a tank, a vehicle that is hard to destroy without an explosive. Ben does not stop to save the ammo. This unwise mindset quickly gets him to the point of depleting it. Knowing this, Will comes out to shoot at Ben with his shotgun. Once he gets him, Kia jumps on Will to bring him to the ground. She throws punches at him like he threw at her. He manages to fend off her attacks, getting the upper hand back. And during his punches, she gets Will in a headlock. As Kia holds him in it, Ben draws near to witness her take his life. The 2 survivors lie there, exhausted. Following this, Kia gets radioed that the helicopter crew is good to go. Yet Kia is more interested to know if the civilians are safe, and learns they are. Now she wants everyone to leave without her, for she says she will not make it. We see Ben is beginning to disappear. The team member on the radio says they are coming back for Kia. However, she gives the order for them to fly away without her. After that, she looks in Ben's direction and sees he has vanished completely. The moment finally arrives for the earlier Kia to see the present one. We do not see her shock. We just see the 2 of them walking to the portal. Since they are similarly injured, they both fall to their knees. One of them asks if they did the right thing. The other answers they did. They should have chosen to stop fighting years ago, one Kia says. This prompts the other to wonder if it will ever really stop. The last thing they briefly talk about is the song their mother used to sing when they couldn't sleep. Then the present Kia vanishes whilst the past Kia remains to hum the song. She soon enters the portal, causing us to wonder where it will take her. The next scene has the crew riding in a truck, minus Kia and Will. Jack asks what they are going to report to the headquarters. Ben responds they should stick to the truth. Therefore, the man goes over what they should say. Inside the building, they call the elevator down. Alas, it is malfunctioning exactly like it did at the start. So they start taking the stairs a second time. It is uncertain if the horror is to repeat or not.